Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Nick. I wanted to take some time to do kind of a recap on my latest project, which is this maple bowl that I turned on my lathe. I haven't done a recap video on my channel per se on one particular project, but this one had a reoccurring theme of the same couple questions over and over again. So you'll notice in the title it says recap. So if this isn't your thing, then you know not to click on it. But I think a lot of good information here. First off, it was firewood, and the most common question I got was I gonna worry about warping or cracking, or was the wood green, it looked green and all that. You're right, it's firewood. It wasn't completely green, which means like wet or fresh fallen wood. This wood was from my firewood guy, and I'm guessing at least a year it's been out in the open drying, possibly close to 2 years. Am I worried about warping? No. I knew that going into it, that it would most likely warp. In fact, I wasn't able to finish up the bowl and I had to wait till the next day, and just that little amount of time, there's a slight warp in it, and I'm totally cool with that. Am I worried about it cracking? No, I don't think it's gonna crack. It wasn't overly wet, and I'm not concerned. And even if it cracks into a million pieces, I really don't care. It's more or less me just getting time on my lathe, developing techniques, getting muscle memory, and practice on the lathe. It's firewood, although the inside, the grain actually was, had a little bit of a kind of a cool, funkiness to it, and I really dug it. And then I dyed the outside. You can go to nickferry.com. I have a couple of the dyes listed. Just search dye on my website, and there's all sorts of different things. I like the two-tone finish, but let me get back to the warping, the cracking, or anything like that. Like I said, I wasn't worried about it warping. I kind of figured it would warp slightly, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't fully green, and it's just one of those things. That's something to keep in mind in your woodworking journey. Don't necessarily feel like you have to fit like a structured rule set. I mean, if it comes to safety, sure, go ahead and follow all that, but I really didn't care. Like I said, I'm relatively new to turning, and it wasn't an overly large concern for me. And I'm gonna try and get a picture to show you guys on either Instagram or even my YouTube channel. I'm giving it away as a Christmas gift, so I'll hopefully remember to get a picture right before I give it away. And well, I guess if it's cracked, I'll get plenty of pictures, because then I probably wouldn't give it away. But I don't think it's gonna crack. It wasn't overly wet. Another reoccurring question, why didn't I rough turn it? Again, it just harks back to, I didn't care. In fact, in that video, you can see rough turned bowl blanks. I got several, probably close to a dozen now around my shop, that you rough turn it towards about an inch or inch and a half thick wall. Let it dry slowly, let it do any little checking, let it warp, and then you can bring it back to the lathe in say 4 or 5 months, and then true everything up, and then it's nice and stable. Sure, if you have like a nesting set or a particular piece of wood you don't want to warp, there you go. Another question that was kind of reoccurring is, why didn't I use either like coal jaws or a jam chuck or anything like that when I reversed it to hollow, after I was done reversing it from hollowing to turn the tenon off? And it's because it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and that was the most effective, quick and easy way just to put some shelving liner on that chuck and just turn the tenon off real quick. I'm not an expert turner by any means, way, shape, or form. And this is just, like I said, it's a learning thing, and it's me just kind of having fun at the lathe. And like I said, trying to develop my techniques. Why didn't I make a jam chuck and all that stuff? It's because of this guy right here. This is a vacuum chuck, and it was on order when I was turning this bowl. And I didn't want to go ahead and make a jam chuck that was literally going to see the use of one bowl. And like I said, it was 3 in the morning. I was just having fun at the lathe, and so I wasn't overly concerned about it. The sides might have been moving a little bit, but the tenon was pretty straight on. The bottom, no, the bottom's not perfect, but again, that's that whole learning experience. And then I had a few questions on the tools. I was fortunate enough, Kevin Miller gave me a Carter & Son 5/8 bowl gouge, and I made a handle for that. I covered that, I believe, in another video, and I was just primarily working with that, and I was extremely fortunate. My good friend Braxton Worthland, I'll leave, he's got a YouTube channel as well. I'll leave a link in the description below. I was, about a week or so ago, I was at his house in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we were just like turning non-stop. He's got an awesome woodworking channel. I definitely recommend checking it out. He doesn't focus 100% on turning, but he's a real, exceptional turner. And that was definitely a fun experience. In fact, the push cut in that video is not, I've never done that cut before, and I was getting a lot of tear out, and I had to ask him, say, hey, why, is there anything I can do to clean this up? And he pretty much walked me through it, so thanks, buddy, I appreciate that. And like I said, you guys definitely check him out. I didn't have a voiceover to the bowl video because there was nothing for me to teach you. I'm learning. You're kind of coming along my journey on learning wood turning. I've probably turned less than 50 or 60 items in my life, which may sound like a lot, but for anyone that's done any amount of turning knows that, that could be a Saturday or two of pens. So it's just, again, that's just one of those things. And if you guys are interested in learning, like I said, I mentioned Braxton's channel, but then also my friend Carl Jacobson. I actually did a collaboration video with him a couple of years ago. He's a really good guy. I'll leave his channel link in the description below as well. He does predominantly turning on his channel. Super awesome guy, and just a lot of knowledge to be had there. So if you have any turning questions, he's got literally tons and tons of videos and information on that. So those are two guys to definitely check out on YouTube if you're into the more turning. I mean, there's a lot more turning channels, but those are kind of two of my favorites, two of my friends. So another question that I got just a couple times, and they were talking about whether it's safe to cut a log on a bandsaw like that. You got to be confident in your tools and your techniques. And is it a frowned upon technique? No. If you have the experience to do it, it's definitely safe. And if you're posturing and you're holding it right and all that stuff. I did actually have an odd advantage in that particular one, because that log was sitting on either the ground or wherever it was, and it literally had almost like flattened out. There was almost 4 flat sides to it, and it was pretty noticeable. So I actually used one of those flat sides on the table of the bandsaw to run it through. But no, that's a normal cut to be made, or a safe cut considerably. If you were to turn the log the other direction and then just try and hold onto it, that is not a smart cut to make, because the bandsaw teeth going down is going to want to pull and rotate that cylinder or that log into the blade. You're going to have kinks, and it's just not a good situation. But again, whatever you're comfortable with, you got to, safety is kind of a subjective thing. I mean, some guys use guards on their table saws, some guys don't. We're all adults. You gotta kind of make those decisions for yourself. Lastly, and certainly not least, people, a couple times were asking whether I was enjoying, getting into wood turning and stuff. And yes, I am completely. In fact, just last night, I turned this bowl here out of some figured maple. It's a curly maple, and then I put a die on the back, kind of similar to the two-tone theme here. I've done quite a few things in this two-tone theme. It's just, I don't know, it just kind of resonated with me. But this particular one was the first one I was able to turn on this vacuum chuck. And, just figured I'd knock out a real quick, tiny little platter. In fact, I did a larger platter as well. This was just straight grain maple, and I actually put a black edge on it, and it turned out nice. It's definitely been a fun process. Am I going to be exclusively a wood turner from here on out? No, there's so many other facets, so many other opportunities in woodworking that I enjoy, and not only that, but metalworking. While I was at Braxton's shop, we actually did record a couple videos in which there was some metalworking and welding and things of that nature, and hopefully I can get that video out before too long as well. So anyways, this, like I said, if you see recap in the title, and that's basically what this is going to be, me trying to go over and go deeper into some of the questions and some of the comments that people had, and basically it's easier for me to talk to a camera than it is to type everything out again and again. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you picked up and got some more information on that. Until I see you guys next time, you guys, take care.